Is owning an online boutique hard? Yes, it is hard. Let's talk about it. Or what you're seeing is new merchandise coming in, which means that there is money being spent. But what you are not seeing is how much inventory is left over after the fact. Hey guys, it's Jan Sharte and I'm back again with another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be answering a question that I get all the time. Is owning a boutique hard? I wish I had something to compare it to. I can't think of anything, but I'm just going to tell you, it ain't easy. I'm not going to say it's hard just because myself, I come from a retail background. So there's certain things that just make sense to me and that come easy or easier to me than it does to other people. But I'm definitely not going to say that it's easy. So in this video, I'm going to tell you guys some of the things that actually go into owning a boutique and to help you decide whether or not this is something that you would like to dabble in. So if you're interested, stay tuned. All right, so you already heard my opinion of whether or not it is hard to own a boutique. Just in case you don't believe me, here are a few answers or a few opinions of some of my Instagram followers. I actually asked in an Instagram poll on my stories how people felt about owning an online boutique and whether or not they felt like, it was easy when or felt that it was going to be easy when they started. So look at some of these responses. As you can see, there were a few people who thought it was going to be easy, but once they were in it, they were in for a rude awakening. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Don't let that discourage you though. We're going to talk all about it. So I feel like sometimes, or a lot of times, people see other people doing anything under the sun, whether it be starting a boutique, starting any other type of business. I feel like sometimes people see all of the good parts of it and they just assume that it is easy to do. But what they don't see is all of the long nights, all the aching backs and aching arms and aching fingers, the confusion, the money that's not coming in, the goals that aren't made. They don't see the bad stuff. All they see is good. So when it comes to this good old boutique industry, I feel like so many people see, they bought some clothes and they had a photo shoot and they took pretty pictures and now they have a pretty Instagram and oh my God, they got so many followers and look, they're making so much money. Oh my God, that has to be easy. That's what I think a lot of people are seeing, and they are coming to the conclusion that it must be easy. You're wrong, sis. It's not easy. It's definitely not all that it is, that it appears to be. So first and foremost, what you are not seeing is, or what you're seeing is new merchandise coming in, which means that there is money being spent. But what you are not seeing is how much inventory is left over after the fact. So they see people making money, so they assume, they must be, selling tons of things every single day or whatever the case may be. There are a lot of businesses out here who do not make money every single day. And I am going to raise my hand and be completely honest with you and tell you that my business is one of them. But what you don't see is that I make my goals every single month. So there may be days where I don't make any money whatsoever. Literally, I have gone days upon days upon days of not making money. But when I finally decide to exert some actual energy, put some plans in motion to actually do something worth doing, and I have goals behind what I'm doing, I make my goals. So I want first and foremost you guys to know that there are days that money does not come in, especially in the beginning. So I feel like, as you get more well-versed in what works, what doesn't, what merchandise to buy, what merchandise isn't going to work, how much to spend, things of that nature, a lot of things become a lot more easy for you. But when you're a new business owner, or new boutique owner, there's so many things that you still don't necessarily know or understand or you can't really grasp whether or not it's going to work. There are tons of just risks that you are taking and you're not necessarily knowing what the result of that risk is going to be. So there are tons of, pieces of merchandise coming in on a weekly basis, but sometimes there's not tons of merchandise going out, meaning that it's being sold on a weekly basis. So I want you guys to first and foremost know that owning a boutique is a lot of money spent, or it's money spent. I won't say a lot. It's money spent, and sometimes it's not money coming back to you in return. So while I do make my goals, every single month, I am setting goals that make sense for my business and that are realistic. So realistically, I know that it is not realistic for me, for my business, for me to sell out of all the merchandise that I have in stock. In fact, I'm going to take you guys over to my office so you can see the inventory that I have. So hold on. All right, guys, so we are walking into my office space now, which is a hot mess, so please don't judge me. But right behind here, I have a rack of inventory. So there's a few empty hangers in here. Like, these are empty. So this is an indication of inventory that has been sold. But these are pieces that are left over. These are pieces that are left over. I think this isn't on my website yet. I don't think so, but everything else is. So this is inventory that I added to my website maybe a month ago, maybe. And as you can see, there's still inventory here. Additionally, I'm gonna go this way. There's another rack here. So the back half of it is merchandise that's not on the website yet. The white at the front isn't on the website yet. The blue just got added. The black is on there. It's been on there for a couple weeks. And the brown in the middle has been on there for a couple weeks. As you can see, it's still here. Let's see if I can turn this around so you guys can see more of it. I also have these bins that are also full of inventory. Some of that inventory in that end, that's stuff that I've had since last year. Now, granted, I still sell this merchandise today. I haven't removed it from my website or anything like that. I'm still selling it, but it's moving slowly. It's part of the process. So before you jump into this, I want you guys to know that there is going to be inventory left over, especially until you get to the point where you understand your customers. So if I move a little closer, you can see that this bin, that bin, that bin, that bin, those are pretty much empty at this point. There is I think one style in there, 2 items in there, 2 pairs of jogger pants in there, and 1 jogging set in there. So at this point in my business, I have pretty much learned what works for my customers and what they are willing to purchase. So I know what to buy and what's gonna work. And those things sell quickly in comparison to those bins at the bottom, which were items that I bought at the beginning of my business when I was unsure of what was going to work and what wasn't, which means that it's a bit harder for me to sell that merchandise. So let me turn the camera back around so we can finish talking a bit. All right, so that's just a bit of my inventory. That's not even all of it, guys. So I want you guys to know another really important part of this business is the inventory. There is going to be money spent. Sometimes the money won't come back in immediately, and it's just part of the process. It's part of the learning curve. Eventually, you'll learn, like I said, what works, what doesn't, and that stuff will sell quickly for you. You just have to be a little bit more creative around how you're going to sell what's left over. So let's talk a little bit more about some of the other things or misconceptions that people have about starting a boutique. So one of my favorite things to tell people is that owning a boutique is less about fashion and more about numbers. And if you've been in business for quite some time now, you understand exactly what I'm saying. So when most people start a boutique, their first instinct is to buy clothing. Their first instinct is also to buy clothing that either they like or that they just kind of think is trendy, or they want to buy clothing that they see, other boutiques buying, and they just assume that if it works for them, it must work for me. And that is the wrong mentality to have. So I always say that if you can wrap your brain around the fact that this is a numbers game and not a fashion game, then you can succeed in this business. So there is so much like number theory that goes into being successful in this industry. And there's so many people that don't really understand the basics of things such as your profit margins, pricing strategy, promotional strategy, things of that nature. New business owners often base their prices off of randomness or either off of, what other people price their merchandise off of, or price their merchandise at. They also run promotions that don't make sense for their profit margins, or they don't even understand what profit margins are. They often offer discounts and coupons and things like that in order to make sales, but not necessarily to make money or a certain amount of money. So that goes into, knowing your overall numbers, understanding profit margins, setting goals that make sense so that you can make revenue that will help your business to grow. So I think that's one of the biggest problems when it comes to owning a boutique is that even for the people that are, you know, generally successful from the beginning, they often don't have the knowledge of numbers backing their business. So yes, they may be seeing, you know, making hundreds of sales or whatever the case may be right off the bat, but they're often missing out on a lot of money because they are sacrificing their pricing in order to make sales rather than having strategy so that they can maximize their revenue. So there's a difference between making sales and making revenue, and that is one of the biggest mistakes that, not even mistakes, biggest misunderstandings that new business owners or new boutique owners have when they first start out. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I would say really is like the hard part of owning a boutique? Honestly, there are tons of just long nights and of packing orders, or either early mornings of packing orders. Honestly, you don't really know what's going to happen. Yes, you can predict or project what you would like to occur in your business, but you don't know, you know, there's so many unknown factors. For example, I could know everything about my customers. I could know, you know, what type of styles they like, the price points that they care for, and things like that. But for example, what's going on in the world right now, you know, with the virus outbreak and everything, you don't know how the world is going to react to those things. So right now, there's a lot of people who are kind of confused about whether or not people are buying, or if they should continue to, you know, try to sell to people and things like that. There's just a lot of confusion around it. So not understanding, you know, your numbers, or where you can, you know, offer a promotion, or what you can offer a promotion on without hurting your bottom line or hurting your profit margins, can hurt your business in the long run. So there's so many uncertainties that happen in the world. You could have your goals in place for this month and months beyond, but you don't know what's going to happen in the world that is going to either, you know, halt your sales or, you know, affect your sales in some way. So you honestly have to, one, have goals in place, but two, be ready to pivot at any moment in time. You don't necessarily know, you know, if your sales are going to start increasing, or you don't know if your sales are going to decrease. You don't know if you're going to get 7 sales tomorrow, if you're going to get 2 sales tomorrow. You don't know if you're going to make a goal this month and then miss it for the next 3 months. You have absolutely no idea. But being able to strategize and think through your process and understand what works for your customers by way of pricing and merchandise as well can help your business in so many ways. So again, it ain't hard. I mean, yeah, it ain't hard, but it definitely ain't easy. If you take the time to try to understand exactly what you need to understand prior to starting, rather than trying to understand it as you go through it, you can see, or you won't be affected so much by all of the things that a lot of new business owners are affected by, because they didn't pre-plan or learn these things beforehand. So long story short, owning a boutique is not easy. It can be extremely hard if you don't have certain, you know, understanding of various aspects of this business. So it ain't hard, but it definitely ain't easy. But it gets easier with time. So I hope this video helped somebody. I hope I didn't completely discourage anyone. I just really want you guys to be aware of what occurs in this business or in this industry, because I think there are so many people out here in this world who try to project the fact that, you know, they're making so much money and they're making all these sales and things like that, and they're glamorizing it, making it seem as if it's easy, or that, you know, it can be you too. And it definitely can be you too, but not too many people are being honest about what it actually takes. There's not too many people who are actually knowledgeable about like numbers and things of that nature. They're just generally good at either, you know, social media, or taking pretty pictures, or buying good merchandise and things like that. So not to discredit any of those people, what works for one may not work for another, and that's just the nature of the game. So I just want to make sure that everybody is well equipped from day one, and that we all have an accurate understanding of what actually goes into succeeding in this industry. And I hope you guys take this video and start to think about, either if you're in business, think about, you know, where you may be missing the mark, what you may need to learn more about. And if you are thinking about launching a business, I want you to take a moment to stop and think and determine whether or not you have an understanding of, you know, everything you think you need to understand prior to launching, so that when you do launch, you can have the most successful launch possible. So thank you guys for watching this video. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see a future video about, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until next time, bye.